Do you think we'll ever be able to pinpoint the origin of some of the struggles of this specific group of children?
It's funny that you asked that. With the nonprofit, I've been working on how do we reach kids, especially who have experienced trauma. And it doesn't even have to be personal trauma. It could be generational trauma. It can be community trauma, societal trauma. And to be honest, if we're talking about the kids currently right now, they are so heart-centered and such big feelers that the stuff going on in the world that kind of doesn't even relate to them impacts them. You know, they're like sponges sucking it all in. And so I think even if there's not an identifiable cause or a point of, you know, in their life where this kind of went down this path, I feel like all of the children in this coming generation really benefit from tools to empower them to what do I do with all these feelings? They have the feelings, which is great. It's hard to teach someone to care. They care. Now what do we do? You know, how can I, rather than dwell in it and spinning around and I'm anxious and I'm worried, what can I do about it? So I even, you know, while I am trying to reach kids that, you know, have experienced trauma, as I'm going through a lot of the strategies and all this, I'm like, you know what, I kind of feel like these work for everybody. I mean, everyone, if you really sit down and talk to them, they have a story that will break your heart. You know, everyone's experienced something that has very much shaped who they are today. And so the kids aren't an exception to that. They've had things as well.
How are you continuing to make your dent in the universe and helping to correct some of the things that maybe you feel need to be changed for the better?
I think there's so many things that need to be righted in this world. There's a lot, if I sit here and really think about this, especially in this past year, and especially with a lot of the injustices, I mean, there's been a lot of tears this past year. But I really, really think that, and maybe this is, you know, because I'm in the field, but I do think one of the best solutions, it goes back to education. And that education isn't necessarily a book and a worksheet. The education can be firsthand experience with certain people or in certain situations. Having somebody tell you another side that maybe you weren't aware of because you only were being fed this side. So just the accumulation of genuine knowledge and being empowered to form a decision that's informed off of that, I do think is a really big stepping stone. What is unfortunate is that the access to information is not equitable. We're continuing to divide society even further at the very beginning when kids first enter school. They're being put here, they're being put here, this neighborhood's here, this school's here, these teachers go here. And it's just from day one, we're dividing and ingraining these ideas in people's heads that are too narrow. And while there is, you know, a lot of, oh, internet, I do kind of appreciate the internet because I think that's part of why this next generation of kids are so open-minded, is because they're learning more than what we're giving them. They have access to a world of knowledge. And because of that, they're so open-minded. And they do care about human rights and equity and, you know, people being able to live their lives like they should. And so I guess with all that being said, is the way that I'm doing it is trying to show people that learning is the key, and here's how you can access this knowledge, and here's how you should question the answers, and here's how you should come up with educated conclusions, and here's some ways that you can take deliberate steps and take action. And a lot of that is mimicked in school. You know, a lot of the things they're doing in school can be applied to life if you shed it in the right light. And so I try as much as I can to make things related to real life so that they can see that there's a connection there.